And you can just tell when it's original, it's original. When it's beautiful, it's beautiful. Good morning and welcome to it. It's 20 minutes after 9 a.m. and time for us to check out moments in current affairs. One of the things, is to ensure that we keep you up to date and abreast of all the situations and the things that are happening in and around our society. The Commissioner of the National Lotteries Commission has resigned with immediate effect just weeks before her term expires at the end of September. This is according to several sources. Tabang Charlotte Mampane served 10 years as Commissioner, effectively Chief Executive Officer of the National Lotteries Commission. Her first 5-year contract was extended in September 2017. The NLC has been overwhelmed with corruption over the past few years. Ground Up has uncovered hundreds of millions of rands of misspent lottery funding on Mampane's watch, and what we have reported is likely to tip the iceberg. Her resignation comes just over 2 weeks after we revealed that the National Lottery funding meant to build a Limpopo school raised by fire during the protests has been used to pay for her luxury home in a golf estate. Now, the house in the upmarket Pecanwood estate, which abuts Hartbeespoort Dam in the Northwest Province, is registered in the name of a trust in which Mampane and her husband Samuel are both trustees. The couple and their 2 adult children are all beneficiaries of the trust. Mampane's house is one of several that Ground Up has revealed was bought with lottery grants meant to go fund good causes, especially in rural and marginalized communities. Mampane, who last year earned 4.5 million rand, went on leave on the same day that Ground Up broke the story and was published. We understand that Mampane was to face disciplinary action in connection with the use of lottery money to purchase her house. It's unclear what the effect of her sudden resignation will be on this process. Tendo Ramahoma, the former deputy of the NLC's Arts and Culture Distribution Agency and current legal executive, has been acting as commissioner since Mampane went on leave 2 weeks ago. The purchase of the house is under investigation by the SIU, which has been probing corruption involving lottery funds ever since President Cyril Ramaphosa signed a proclamation in October 2020 authorizing the investigation. So Mampane was recently called by the SIU to answer questions about the 2016 purchase of the house for 3.6 million rand. A few weeks afterwards, after the investigation, the house purchase since received a tip off last year, published the story. Ayini, guys.
From the states of Africa, we've got you covered.
So even the people who are administering or who are administratively in charge or responsible for the lottery money, the only people winning are the people who win the jackpot. There's a millions which they tell us about after abantu bedlala ilotho ngemali zabo. But even the people, and apparently the top honcho part within the organization, is also somebody then who is misusing the funds. Hayini. Sean Mkize will be delighted to hear that the Royal AM owner and millionaire businesswoman will be joining the cast of ETV's Durban Gen. According to one of the publications, Mkize has denied joining the medical drama, which airs on weekdays at 6:30 p.m. However, the news was confirmed by Durban Gen spokesperson Nomfundo Zondi. Businesswoman Sean Mkize has ventured into acting as she has joined Durban Gen. The outlet reports that Mkize landed a cameo role as herself, as she will appear on the telenovela in October. She got a cameo role just like what happened in Uzalo. She started shooting last month. There are clashes with her schedule as she's a busy woman and she had to postpone her shooting, but she comes when her schedule allows her to do so. The plan is for her to appear in October. She won't stay long as the role is a cameo, said the source. Judgment has been reserved in the medical parole case of former President Jacob Zuma. The Supreme Court of Appeal in Bloemfontein made the decision on Monday, the 15th of August. This follows Advocate Dalimpofu informing the court that Arthur Fraser granted Jay-Z medical parole within the parameters of the law. Dalimpofu stated that the High Court did not establish that terminal illness is part of the criteria for granting medical parole. Mpofu further argued that the Correctional Services Act empowered the former Correctional Services Commissioner to protect inmates' rights. Zuma and the Correctional Department were presenting their arguments in an attempt to overturn the High Court judgment that declared his medical parole release was unlawful. So news reports that the SCA, which is the Supreme Court of Appeal, justices emphasized the need to understand how Fraser assessed the medical reports before deciding to release the former president. In 2020, a student named Modiba tweeted a laughable pack of lies. The Daily Maverick had to offer to pay him a secret stipend to write articles taking a certain position. The High Court has now ruled that Modiba claims the patently false and defamatory, and the whole thing had been a waste of time and money, but indicates the kind of fires that the media outlets must fight these days in addition to traditional threats. Modiba, a student who got the 15 minutes of local Twitter fame by tweeting nonsensical claims, now owes the publication 100,000 plus costs. That's such for Modiba, who presumably does not have that kind of dough stuffed down his couch, since he has been tweeting that his lawyers have been representing him pro bono. 0 lawyers ever actually showed up for Modiba in the defamation case. He just lost by declining to defend himself, so sometimes what you pay really is what you get. The Not In My Name movement wants Finance Minister Enoch Godongwana to vacate his office, this after alleged sexual harassment leveled against him. It is alleged that an employee at Skukuza in the Kruger National Park, who was offering a massage service to guests, opened a case against Godongwana. A 34-year-old man accused of killing a policewoman in April this year, or last year, in fact in April this year, while she was seated in her lounge, has pleaded guilty. Siabulele Mbele, who pleaded guilty to killing SAPS Sergeant Noktula Florence Somani on April 29th. Pietermaritzburg High Court Acting Judge Elsie Marie Bezuidenhout sentenced Mbele to 22 years behind bars. Somani, who's 55, who lived in Korkshil near Umzimkulu, died as a result of multiple gunshot wounds. The 2 people, including Somani's younger sister Bongega Somani, have been arrested for her murder. Mbele was the first person to be arrested on July 11th, while Bongega was arrested on the 15th of July. Bongega has been denied bail and remains behind bars. In his Section 105A plea in the sentence agreement handed to the court attorney, Lauren Mere, Mbele claimed that he hired a traditional healer named Twasa to kill a woman. According to Mbele, Twasa had asked him to find a hitman who could do a job for him. Like seriously. Who could do a job for him. He said he finally found someone named Sishi and they both agreed to carry out the job. Mbele said that they went and met Twasa in Mzimkulu, who said the victim was using witchcraft and that several people had already died because of her. Sishi indicated that they would kill her for an amount of 60,000 rand. Twasa agreed to the suggested amount and indicated that the job had to be done on April 29th. On the day of the murder, Mbele said they met Twasa at the school in Korkshil, in Korkshil area, Mzimkulu. Mbele said that they were close to the house. Twasa made a phone call. He said a female person then appeared in the veranda of that house and she was also on the phone, and it was obvious she was communicating with Twasa. After Twasa ended the call, he said to them that the woman had to be killed, wore a red jacket and was watching television in that house and left. Mbele said then he entered the home and stabbed Somani several times in her chest while Sishi fired several gunshots at her. He said they were satisfied she was dead when they fled. Now, Mbele said Twasa paid them a total of 12,000 rand instead of 60,000 initially agreed upon, an amount of 2,000 initially and a further 10,000 in 2 installments, which they shared. He claimed that they were no longer able to contact Twasa as his phone had been disconnected after the murder. Mbele said that they had been arrested in July in mitigation of the sentence. Mbele admitted he was wrong. The single father said he had no defense for the charges leveled against him and he had agreed to be a state witness. The state has been represented by advocate Mbongeni Mthembu. 29 minutes now before 10 a.m. The proposed new bill, the unlawful entry on premises bill, aimed to prohibit unlawful entry onto the premises. The Department of Justice says that the Trespass Act is a piece of colonial apartheid era legislation, which was originally designed to combat trespassing publications and conduct and endangering or engendering hostility between certain population groups. Justice and Correction Services Minister Ronald Lamola said that pieces of legislation designed to foster the policies of apartheid had survived. The heated exchange between a black teacher and a colored parent at a school in Ennerdale, south of Johannesburg, is a symbol of rising tensions in the community, which the government failed to address 3 years ago. The South African Human Rights Commission has accused the Gauteng government of neglecting to implement its social cohesion recommendations made in 2019 to quell racial tensions largely in colored communities. The commission investigated Klipspruit West Secondary School in 2017 when the colored community protested against the appointment of a black principal. The commission found that the actions of the community were racially motivated and there was nothing sinister about the appointment. In the latest incident, a video showing a black teacher making racist comments to a colored parent inside the classroom at Fred Norman Secondary School in Ennerdale circulated on social media. The parent had to come to school to ask why her granddaughter had not been allowed to attend the teacher's class for the past 2 weeks. This caused the pair to have a go at each other in front of pupils who are standing on chairs while other colored pupils interject in defense of the parent. In the clip, the teacher can be heard saying, "I don't like coloreds. I will never wake up liking coloreds like you. You guys are rude. You guys don't have manners. As a woman, you come and scream at me here." The teacher's remarks have angered many colored people in Ennerdale and neighboring areas within the city of Johannesburg, Region G, who are calling for permanent removal of the educator. Gauteng Education MEC Panyaza Lesufi visited the school and announced that the teacher has been put on suspension. Toto Wolff is wary George Russell and Lewis Hamilton's friendship as teammates may not last while the stakes are highest. When Russell replaced Valtteri Bottas at Mercedes-Benz for the 2022 season, all eyes were on the Silver Arrow to see how the young Brit would cope with his new teammate. Joining the top team, left alone one that has been dominant for the past decade, is a tough ask, but Russell's task was made no easier by the fact that the yardstick of which he would be measured went on from a driver with the highest career finish of P7 to a 7-time world championship. But instead of animosity, the two were able to bond over the common enemy, a W13, as Mercedes-Benz found themselves no longer fighting for the race wins, let alone championship. It allowed Russell to excel in an underperforming car, something he had to do so well in previous teams. Chin.
From the states of Africa, we got you covered.
Kaizer Chiefs looks to set to lose another first-team player, according to reports. Out of favor, utility wing Happy Mashiane is tipped to move away from Naturena. According to the Citizen, Swallows FC have open talks with Mashiane over the potential loan move. The wing back struggled for game time last season and followed the arrival of Edmilson Dove. Now, this is going to set even tougher for the youth graduate in the season. Swallows are said to be in talks with Kaizer Chiefs over the services of left back, and Happy is willing to go. He wants to play and he's not getting a chance. He thinks that going on loan will work out for him and give him a chance to show his worth. Finally, thousands of people gathered in South African town of Marikana on Tuesday to mark a decade since the dozen of striking workers were killed in the worst act of police violence since the end of the apartheid era. On the 16th of August 2012, 34 people who were killed, 78 injured, and police opened fire on platinum mine workers who gathered on the hill near the mine to demand better wages and housing. An official inquiry placed much of the blame for the deaths on police tactics. It also cleared senior government officials of any blame. To this day, still no one has been charged. May those rest in peace.
We're social. Check us out on Facebook.
Activist Radio.
No window to smoke, I get smoked and lonely. You can't do me, do we look like DVD? You hoochie groupie, I have no love for. That's something that I let in the past. So how the f am I supposed to pay this? Just the latest, I know the and then I'm through it. There's nothing else to do with it. Pass it to the homie, now you hit it. Cause she ain't nothing but a to me, and y'all know that. Why don't y'all pay attention? Approach it with a different proposition. I'm corrupt. You'll never be my only one. Ain't no fun in the homies that care. It ain't no fun in the homies that care. It ain't no fun in the homies that care. It ain't no fun in the homies that care. Guess who's back in the name of the house? What the f is ever your recognize cause one existing is scandalous and full of voodoo. What you gon' do? You really don't know. So I'd advise you not to trust that lie. Silly of me to fall in love with her. Knowing damn well once you caught up with my grip. Now as the sun rotates and my game grows bigger, how many wanna name Snoop Doggy? I'm all the above. I'm too swift on my toes to get caught up with you off the see. It ain't no fun if my homies can't get a taste of it, cause you know I don't love it. Hey, now you know, inhale, exhale with my flow. One for the money, two for the to get ready, and before we hit the switches in my Chevy. 6 for red to be exact. So back up and cheer because I'm struggling. Just get on your knees and then start juggling. It's me, woman, breathing with the clock.
It ain't no fun. The homies can't
sengumntana sakhulayo bekwekwezi edubulayo ikwayiyo leyiwayo sinda iminqweno yabantu abayibonayo xa idlulayo ngendlulayo akho mbihoyileyo xa tshonelayo kusekho umlilo uvuthayo kusela amalahla aqhumayo kungekho bani uvuthelayo phembayo kho moyo uzayo eshekayo zintlungu nensisi sobukeli kwekwezicinayo nxiba lini na elingi lithulukayo kukho into eshukumayo ngaphakathi kumethumayo xa sekwabavakalelwayo ngamazwi aphumayo kondlela lula yothuba inyalo ngxolo luphumayo sibakabhaka sibangachitha bangavunwayo njengemvula enayo bakho lo mbuzo umhluphayo uvukayo ntoleni ngayo lohluke ngayo kwabagqithayo nabo bahlulekayo ndingayintoni ngaphandle kwayo inkwenkwe sisezulu ziyawa kanya kwekwezi phezulu xa kunyama inkwenkwe sisezulu ziyawa kanya kwekwezi phezulu xa kunyama ebumina khondilula sindwa ngalamagama nzamo wafunqula nophula umphefumlo esiphungula ngempumlo mlomo wathula yezimvula isibane sesulu sothulwa ndagula qondo yazula kuzala imifula nangona ezinyembezi zosula bangavala amehlo libona wena ndimane ndikhumbula ngela xesha sonke sasikhula siqala ukucula ndiza phezulu njengokulula phakathi kwencula-ncula engekho nokudlula kwakunjani uba umhlolo uyakwehlula xa ndijula la magama ndizama ukuqhula ngawe ndizama ukuvumbulula kuba ndifuna ukuxhubula kwabafe bephila ndingavuya mhlanda kubona uphakama uzivuthulula ungayekeleli msinya abaziyo bathi quqa ngedolo thandaza nqula inhlahla yakho ungayiguqula inkwenkwe sisezulu ziyawa kanya kwekwezi phezulu xa kunyama
madiba mfuka sopitwa unqolo mzila semusajika fika sevutha sechiza fika somela semisha fika bahlali bancina ngokundibanika amaphinda yayiva ngokudlala kulalika ndiyaziwa ngokundithetha ngomadiba yabindwa etha nangomhluzi sipha ziyakhipha nabahlali bayanqina ingoma zami ngomhluzi lezi ngoma ayingazi ndizenza njani unganibuzi nendikhumbuka phakathi babecinga ndizoluza ndiyafaka inyitshwa every time ndisebhuni ndithetha into evakalayo ingoma zami ngomhluzi lezi ngoma ayingazi ndizenza njani unganibuzi nendikhumbuka phakathi babecinga ndizoluza ndiyafaka inyitshwa every time ndisebhuni ndithetha into evakalayo
fika thina machita yabale yakhumbula nozama ispan bathathe ifoni banqoma ngegani yakhumbula ezikhazi kunzima uphuma eyawukomi blamehla nonyuka xa ungabazi ubuke umbuzo ma ngoba ngapha ekasi bafuna itom ankwazi nokuya eshop umabona ithama lakhala kufuna ifamily isithi ndako anifuni nobu ithanda zinto sephilayo usathanda udlalela ku shoot that cheese akita kid ithanda ungathi ndisi ever simply. Who by the best? One from a small town, yes, a park could be where I'm at. Who by the best? 2020, looking back in my past, I'll give you the laugh. Who by the best? Johnny Visa, she joined la party, Basali, Bako, Batimbele, Ngawe. Umamako, Uzale, Ikaka, Colors of Spanish, Mali.
Ingoma zami umhluzi lezi ngoma ayingazi izenza njalo nganuzi nelikhuluma phakathi babegcina ngizoluzi lafaka inyibo try every time when it's a boot dithatha into vakalayo ingoma zami umhluzi lezi ngoma ayingazi izenza njalo nganuzi nelikhuluma phakathi babegcina ngizoluzi lafaka inyibo try every time when it's a boot dithatha into vakalayo
Mamela khazi ke liqobelela Una khule from ichutyumbini Mama zama push smoke lebe zama nyana sikhupha insokolweni Yewina eqala ngisemncane Bona njola no Amanda They were sleeping on my dreams da Ngoba nifuna kumadrasi Kanimeli ke madoda Ubuhle bendoda zingoma Suka madoda nansoda Nganthandaza for an empty record Ngondi lapha with the empty record Zange khona kwayidansi endlini kodwa abantu requesta njenge-Uber ngoku Ulethi ibhola sekuzolunga ngoku Afezeka namaphupha ngoku Influencers ziyangigula ngoku Sekamakho liyavuma ngoku Ikamakho lithi yes Lipholile na-stress So much nokukhusa Nokugcina limexesha
ingoma zami umhluzi lezi ngoma ayingazi izenza njalo nganuzi nelikhuluma phakathi babegcina ngizoluzi lafaka inyibo try every time when it's a boot dithatha into vakalayo ingoma zami umhluzi lezi ngoma ayingazi izenza njalo nganuzi nelikhuluma phakathi babegcina ngizoluzi lafaka inyibo try every time when it's a boot dithatha into vakalayo ngasa way bayakhala naphaya ekheli Beno wambe sengibuye late Bendipusha buda bayengeva Ngokunjole khosana ukuneva Let iflesh and wabona my hate Biyisepa ntunguka benphethe Endingasalala ndiyepheka Bendiphathalala ngapengeva Ngokunetwabezela Johnny Jane Yakhuthaza ndikuqa iseli Maybe mekuthini uzoba grand Pusha ithesho lakho benepep Still imali uthi twako ungathetha Thumele ekhaya ungaphetha amathela Lay code J for your brush Ingoma zami umhluzi Lezi ngoma ayingazi Izenza njalo nganuzi nelikhuluma phakathi babegcina ngizoluzi lafaka inyibo try every time when it's a boot
12 minutes before 10 a.m. This is Flashy Kumkani featuring Bravo LaRue and Salty Ikyani Umhluzi the remix. Before that, Kanye Mavi with Inkwenkwezi, and of course to kick off the triple play, Snoop Dogg featuring Corrupt Nate Dogg and Warren G. It ain't no fun.
From the states of Africa, we've got you covered. Oh, yeah.
Join me, Pure, on my fabulous lifestyle show, The Invasion, weekdays from 12 to 3 o'clock. It's like Kenar came from the future just to do radio, according to you. The Invasion, weekdays only on Kenar.
When I'm telling you,